Rather young. I was in 6th grade actually in Houston, a suburb of Houston at the time, and I had participated in a music class in a general rotation, and I decided at that point I wasn't going to do choir in 7th grade. I was going to do something else. Got into whatever that elective was. I don't even remember what it was, and just decided that no, I needed to do choir. So I participated in choir in 7th grade. We moved the following year. That's when we moved to Baton Rouge. And so I did not do any choir in 8th grade. There wasn't a choir at the school where I went, but in high school I got involved in it again. And really ever since then I've been involved in it. I met my wife in our high school choir class, and it's been a part of my life since then. Well, as I mentioned, music was a huge part of my life when I was in high school. I was playing for church services. I was playing for stress relief. I was completely immersed in music. I was in choir. I was singing. I was doing music theater productions. When I went to Columbia University my first year of college, it was with the intent to be a doctor. I was in the pre-med program. I essentially went cold turkey from music. There weren't the opportunities to play, to perform, really to sing. There was a choir at Columbia. I had a scheduling conflict, so I couldn't participate in that. And that was what really solidified in my mind the desire to do music as a profession rather than as a hobby. I knew I had to be doing this. And so at that point, I was probably midway through my freshman year of college, maybe a little bit beyond that. I knew I wanted to be a choral conductor, and then everything else after that was really geared toward that goal. Actually, during high school, I would come home probably after a rehearsal or something, and after dinner, I'd sit at the piano for several hours. And that's really where I started working things and finding my compositional voice. I had a church position during my undergrad, and I wrote a lot of pieces for that, but they tended to be more solo vocal stuff. My first real choral piece was the Ave Maria, and that was actually written for my wife's master's recital. She was putting on a concert as part of her master's degree, and she asked for a piece, and so I wrote the Ave Maria for that. And when there is time, I really haven't stopped writing since. I wish there were more time, but such as it is. Well, I mean, the two obvious conducting mentors would be Ken Fulton at LSU. I did my undergrad and master's degree there. And then Jerry McCoy at North Texas when I worked with him for my doctoral degree. We're actually going to work with Jerry when we go in a couple weeks. But beyond that, I mean, I learned from every conductor that I watch. I don't want to get into naming some because certainly I'll leave some out, but I'm a kind of conducting geek in that I'll watch conducting videos and watch the conductor. Sometimes I'll go to music theater productions and I'll watch the conductor more than I do the show. And I learn a lot just by watching various styles. I'd love to do it more. I have a blast doing musical theater. It is such a time commitment. However, it becomes difficult, especially during the semesters here. One reason I was able to take on Sweeney Todd was that it was at the end of our semester and really ran in the summer. And it ran in the summer before my kids finished school. So the timing was good for that. But with my responsibilities here, and of course, with the desire to spend time at home with family, it's been it's hard to do that. But I love music theater. I love going to theater. I certainly did more of it before coming here than I have since. But if somebody called and asked me to conduct a Broadway show tomorrow, I'd do it. Absolutely. Yeah, I did acting. I did several shows in high school. After that, I was involved in a premiere of a show in Louisiana called Evangeline, and I played Gabriel in that. And that was a fun show. I enjoyed that a lot. That would be a favorite. I enjoyed playing George in Our Town. That was certainly fun as well. Those would be my faves, I think. Most embarrassing moment, well, if I can go all the way back, in a piano recital, I forget even how old I was, I completely froze on stage. I played the first measure or two of a piece and then just stopped. Just could not remember where to go and where to go on. That was, certainly embarrassing, but also kind of a wake-up call. I'm not sure my preparation was what it needed to be for that, and and those memory slips do happen, but that was certainly embarrassing. Another embarrassing moment, I call it the hazing experience here at PLU. My first year here, one of our Christmas concerts was in First Presbyterian Church in Seattle, and Richard Nance and I had just taken our bow and acknowledged the choir and the orchestra and walked off stage. And the applause seemed like it was going to continue, so we turned around to walk back on stage, and Richard, was gesturing for me to go first. As soon as I took a step out on stage, the applause stopped, and people were getting up to leave. So there I was, running out and stopping there. So all I could think to do was to say Merry Christmas and walk back off. So that's become a joke around here. Students will walk on stage, say Merry Christmas, and then leave. Well, I do love Redford's scores. John Williams would have to be on that list just for the sheer breadth of his career and the efficiency with which he writes. Thomas Newman writes wonderfully inventive and unique scores. James Horner writes fabulous stuff. That's hard. You add the older film composers, the Elmer Bernsteins and the Morricones and those guys. I don't know I can answer that one. Yes. Favorite cartoon when I was growing up? Anything Looney Tunes. Yeah, Looney Tunes. Star Wars. I grew up with it. Harry Potter. Coke. New Orleans Saints. I don't think I have any secret ones. I love to play piano for fun. I love to read. I love to sail. I'm not sure I have time for a lot else.